So it's been about 24 hours now of NBA free agency, the start of NBA free agency. So I thought I would just go over what's happened so far. So let's start with the boring stuff. Let's start with the re-signings. So Draymond, I always thought he was going to re-sign with the Warriors. He did. He got a 4-year, $100 million contract. Not bad for the Warriors. I think some people were expecting him to go for a bigger contract, so I don't think the Warriors organization is mad about a 104-year contract. Kyle Kuzma signed a $102 million contract and re-signing with the Wizards. I thought that was a little shocking. I thought he was going to go somewhere else. I thought maybe the Rockets, the Jazz. Well, maybe not the Jazz because they traded for John Collins anymore. But I thought he would maybe rejoin back in the Lakers. I don't know. I didn't think he was going to re-sign with the Wizards, but I guess he wants to see how it plays out with Jordan Poole and their new draft picks. Or maybe he just wants a bag. Kobe White re-signed with the Bulls, $33 million for 3 years. Very good deal for the Bulls. That's only $11 million a year. That's very solid for Kobe White, who is a great backup and a decent starter at best. I think that's a steal for the Bulls. Another key big re-signing was Jeremy Grant and the Blazers, 5-year, $160 million deal. I didn't really understand it, but then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, they're going to trade Dame away. It's going to be more of a developing team. They're not going to have a lot of people with big contracts on their team, so they can afford to pay Jeremy. And good for Jeremy. He's getting a big bag, a very big bag. Chris Middleton, 102 3-year deal with Milwaukee. That's about right. Cam Johnson, 4-year deal, re-signing with the Nets for $108 million. That's good. Maybe a little overpaid. I don't know if I would pay Cam Johnson $22 million a year for 4 years. I don't know about that. Caris Levert, 2-year, $32 million to stay with the Cavs. That's good. That's all right. Caris Levert was I forget if he came off the bench. I think he started some games, came off the bench other games, but he was good for them. He was good for them. I don't think he was that good for them in the playoffs. The whole team was kind of crumb in the playoffs, but that's a good re-signing. And the biggest shocker for me for re-signing was Desmond Bane. He signed a 5-year, $207 million contract with the Grizzlies. Desmond Bane. Bro, he wasn't even in consideration for All-Star last year, and you're going to pay him $207 million? $207 million? You don't want to, go after maybe, another All-Star or something? Desmond Bane's good. He had a big jump last year. But I don't think he's going to be an all-star type player. I don't think he will. There's too many other good players in the league for Desmond Bane to make an all-star team or an all-NBA team. I just don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, he's versatile. He can make threes. He's decent on defense. He can attack the rim. But he's not an expert at any of those things besides shooting. He's not the greatest at creating a shot. He's a very good catch and shoot shooter. But $207 million for 5 years, that's risky for the Grizzlies, in my opinion. That's very risky. And then a re-signing that I really like is Tyrese Haliburton. I don't think anybody thought he was going to go anywhere, but he got a max contract, max rookie extension, $260 million for 5 years. And that just makes me happy for Tyrese. I really like Tyrese. He was a first-time All-Star last year. I think he led the league in assists. He was the definite best player on the Pacers last year. He is their franchise and he is their future. So I think that was a great signing, re-signed by the Pacers. He deserves that big contract. No one else on the team deserves that big of a contract. So definitely good for Tyrese. Now for some more of the surprising type signings, for me at least. And to start it off, we're gonna stay with the Pacers and Tyrese here. Bruce Brown, 2-year, $45 million with the Pacers, coming off a championship. He was instrumental for the Nuggets winning that championship last year. He spaced the floor. He was a good defender. He's small, but he can post up, and he can shoot. Bruce Brown he's a great player. He's like a guy who's not going to be... He's basically like a Desmond Bane, but without the ridiculous contract. And I think he could be better than Desmond Bane. He's basically the same. They can do the same exact things, except I think Bruce Brown's a better defender. So that's amazing for the Pacers. That's amazing. And then we have Max Strus coming off a great year with the Miami Heat. Signed a 4-year deal with the Cavs. He got $64 million for 4 years. I think it's a little overpaid. He was very streaky in the playoffs. He is a decent defender. Not the best driver, not the best mid-range player. He's a catch and shooter. If you're not setting like 3 picks for him in a play to get him a wide open 3, then he's not going to be doing much on the offensive floor, in my opinion. So I don't hate the signing, but I don't think the Cavs really needed it, to be honest. I mean, you can never go wrong with shooting. The Cavs need more shooting, of course. But I just don't know if Max Strus for $64 million for 4 years is the best idea for your franchise. Oh, and another re-signing I totally forgot about is Kyrie Irving, 3-year deal, $126 million to the Mavs. I was one of the people who didn't think he was going to re-sign with the Mavs. I thought that trade that they did to get Kyrie was one of the worst trades since they didn't make the playoffs. And that's what you signed him to do. You signed him so you could have a chance in the playoffs. And you didn't even make the playoffs when you traded for Kyrie. So I thought it was a horrible trade. But now it's looking a little better because he re-signed. I didn't think he was going to re-sign, but great for Mavs fans. Maybe they knew otherwise. I just didn't have a lot of faith in Kyrie signing with them. I think him and Luka can work. I think they can work. It's going to be tough because they're both pretty ball dominant. Especially Luka, but I think they can make it work somehow. I think Jason Kidd can run an offense for them. I guess we'll go back to the re-signing a little bit here. I guess we'll go back a little bit because I kind of forgot some of them. But Jakob Poeltl, Toronto Raptors, 4-year, $80 million. I think you're overpaying him. Jakob Poeltl is a great defender, great rebounder. He can't do anything else. He can't score at all in any situation unless he's at the basket by himself. So I think he's getting a little overpaid. He's a great anchor down low. He's not horrible. Jakob Poeltl is not a horrible player. I just don't know how paying $80 million is going to work out for him, for a player like him. And the biggest surprise to me out of all of what happened in free agency so far is Fred VanVleet. He got a $130 million contract, 3 years. $130 million, 3 years to the Houston Rockets. What are the Rockets doing? Did you not see Fred VanVleet's shooting last year? He was horrible. He shot like... I don't know. It was like he shot lower than 30% from 3, I'm pretty sure. He shot horrible. He was the reason that the Raptors did not make the playoffs. I mean, the year before, he was an all-star. He shot efficiently, so maybe last year was just a fluke. I know the Rockets had a lot of cap space, so they were going to go sign someone with a big contract, and they decided to do it with Fred VanVleet. I mean, I hope he does well in Houston. I hope he does well. But if we get the same Fred from last year, it's not going to work out for the Rockets. It's just not. And on the positive side, it's great for Jalen Green because now you actually have a true point guard. The Rockets have a true point guard now. They don't have to have Kevin Porter or Jalen Green bring the ball up like in switch because they're not true points. They're combo guards. So at least now you got Fred VanVleet who can run the offense. He's a good passer. He's short, so he's not the best defender. He's not going to get rebounds for you, but he can run your offense. I just think $130 million for 3 years is a big overpay for how he produced last year. And the Lakers made a lot of moves yesterday. They made a lot of re-signings, a lot of signings. So first off, they got Taurean Prince. He was on my Wolves last year. I like Taurean Prince. He's a good three-point shooter, especially in the corner. He can drive sometimes. He can play solid defense. They re-signed Rui Hachimura to a 3-year, $51 million. That's great. He played amazing in the playoffs. They signed Cam Reddish, who he hasn't played much so far in his NBA career. He hasn't shown what he was, expected to do in the NBA level. But that's a good signing. Maybe he can learn. Maybe he can flourish in a role where he doesn't have to do much because you have LeBron, you have AD. I mean, he's not going to be starting. He's going to be coming off the bench. So that's a good re-signing. They gave Austin Reeves an extension. I think a lot of people thought Austin Reeves was going to go get a big bag somewhere else. He did not. He's re-signing with the Lakers. Lakers are looking decent. Lakers are looking very decent right now. And they also signed Gabe Vincent to a 3-year, $33 million. I think that's a fleece. I think that's a steal. Gabe Vincent was instrumental in the playoffs. He helped I think he was one of their top 2 leading scorers in the finals. And you get him for $11 million a year, that is a steal. He can start right away. I think the Lakers are also re-signing D'Lo. Maybe D'Lo will play better in a backup role. I don't know. You can switch between D'Lo and Gabe Vincent to see which one works. But so far, the Lakers have made some good signings. I don't know if it's going to put them over the top. I don't know if it's going to help them. But, it's definitely going to help them. I just don't know if it's going to help them in the playoffs. Are they now a second-round team like they were last year? But they kind of got lucky in the first round playing the Grizzlies, who were very injured. So I think it just all depends. I just think it all depends for the Lakers. Now I'll just go over all the other stuff that happened yesterday very quickly. Trey Lyles is returning with the Kings. Suns got Drew Eubanks. DeAndre Jordan is staying with the Nuggets. Keati Bates-Diop is going to the Suns. Josh Okogie staying with the Suns. Damian Lee staying with the Suns. Troy Brown is going to the Timberwolves, which, let's go. Hope he can play well. Reggie Jackson is staying with the Nuggets. Javon Carter signed a deal with the Bulls. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is staying with the Timberwolves. Let's go. Chimezie Metu is going to the Suns. George Niang is going to the Cavs. Joe Ingles is going to the Magic. Trey Jones is staying with the Spurs, which I think is going to be great for Victor. Because Trey Jones is just like his brother Tyus. He has a very good turnover to assist ratio. Yude Watanabe is going to the Suns. Shake Milton is signing with the Wolves. Herb Jones has agreed to a 4-year, $54 million extension with the Pelicans. I think that's great for the Pelicans. Josh Richardson, 2-year deal with the Heat. Dennis Schroeder is going to Toronto. I guess it's a decent replacement for Fred VanVleet. Seth Curry is going back to the Mavs because he was on the Mavs before, which awesome for the Mavs. A great shooter in Seth Curry. They need shooters. You can never go wrong with shooters. Gary Trent Jr. is going to re-sign an extension with the Raptors. Monte Morris got traded to the Pistons. Victor Oladipo, which I thought was pretty surprising, he's going back to the Thunder. He was there for a little bit, and he's going back to the Thunder. And for the finale, officially today, Damian Lillard expressed to the Trailblazers that he wants to be traded. He wants to be traded to the Miami Heat, I think. And the Clippers are in talks, I believe, and the Knicks, and obviously the Heat. So by the time I post this, Damian Lillard will probably be traded. He probably will. I don't know what that trade's going to look like, but if it does happen, I'll be covering it tomorrow. So there you go. That's what happened in the last 24 hours since free agency started. Big stuff. And right as I just got done recording all of my audio and stuff and putting like picks together, I don't do too much editing. Dillon Brooks signs a 4-year, $80 million contract with the Rockets. Which is so funny. It's so funny. You're going to pay Dillon Brooks, the guy who messed up everything for the Grizzlies. The man who's like, I can guard LeBron. And then proceeds to get 40-point triple-double done. Like, you're going to sign him to $20 million a year? The Rockets? What are you doing? Oh, my gosh.